Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this very short recording, I thought I would provide a series of suggestions to make the very most of this podcast. With over 1,000 episodes, it's very easy to feel overwhelmed or lost or not sure where to start. So I thought I would give a number of suggestions that could help you to make more from the show and have it work for you and help you do whatever you want to do. So the first suggestion really to make the most of the Hypnotist podcast is to be intentional. So you don't have to write anything down, but just set an intention, even if that's just in a dialogue or just thinking about what you want the hypnosis to help you achieve or do or change. We call it priming in psychology, but having the intention will enable you to get much more from the hypnosis session, but it will also help you to track down the right episode to listen to. So if you decide you want to lose weight, or if you want to, let's say, reduce anxiety or sleep better, having that in mind as you scroll through will enable you to find the right episode to listen to. One of the biggest misconceptions that exists in hypnosis, up there with the false belief that hypnosis is somehow controlling you, is this idea that it happens to you. Hypnosis is a collaborative process, and by looking at hypnosis as something that happens with you rather than to you, then you will start listening to the suggestions in a slightly different way in terms of maybe it will inspire you, maybe it would lead to a decision, maybe it would lead to a change in a habit or routine. But understanding that hypnosis is almost like training wheel stabilizers on a bike, you still need to do the riding, you need to do the pedaling and the steering, but the support that hypnosis can give you can enable you to make more progress than perhaps you would do just on your own. Purposefully listening goes hand in hand with being intentional. Depending on what your purpose is, may depend on the context and the environment that you listen. It goes without saying not to listen to the hypnosis podcast while driving or doing anything that requires concentration or anything that could lead to a dangerous environment. But outside of that, many people choose to listen to the podcast in bed. That's fine if part of the goal is to relax or to lead to sleep. But if it's to create a change, actually it's better to listen to the episode at a different time of day when you're unlikely to sleep. The goal is a very relaxed, trance-like state, not to fall asleep. That said, it's great to have a comfortable environment. So you do want to find a quiet, relaxing space where you can listen completely undisturbed. Obviously, if you're hearing noises or conversations or people could burst into the room, that's not going to help get the most from the session. So ideally have a place where you're in control of the space and the noises around you. To help with the sound, where possible, use headphones. That will isolate yourself from external distractions and also enable the theta wave music, which is a particular frequency of music that I have in the background of these audio sessions that is designed to activate mirror neurons to create a deeper level of relaxation. You could listen just on speakers, but you're not going to get the same impact of the music that you would do if you were listening on headphones. Consistency is also helpful. The idea that you need to listen to one episode for 21 days in a row has been discredited. It came from an old study about how habits are formed. That's been discredited. However, my approach to any kind of change is to focus on the area of your life that would create the biggest possible positive impact for you. So if you were to listen one day to an anxiety session and then the next day to a weight loss session and the next day to a phobia session, you're not really focusing on that one area of life until you get the change that you want. So my advice is to be consistent in one area until you get progress or the result that you want, and then go to the next thing on your list of a change that you want to make. That's going to enable you to get more from the session than if you just kind of graze and browse and pick up things as you go along. It's helpful to stay open-minded. Keep an open mind to the suggestions presented in the recording, but at the same time, a lot of these recordings are recordings that were created for a very specific client that I was working with. So therefore, not all of the suggestions are going to be relevant for you because they were, in many times, created for someone with very specific needs. So the open-mindedness works two ways. Be open-minded to suggestions that could be helpful, but equally be more than willing to disregard any suggestions that are just irrelevant or not suitable for you. Obviously, avoid disruptions that you're in control of. The environment is one way that you can do that, but putting your phone on airplane mode, for example, or switching off alarms or things that could be noisy, that will enable you to get more from the session. It's also, to really get the most of the recordings, worth taking a moment after listening to reflect. What came up for you, what emotions, what thoughts, what ideas, and whatever system you have for following up on things, maybe in your diary, maybe a to-do list, whatever it might be. When you have those ideas, the problem sometimes comes that there is a deep insight as to a change or a new thing that could be tried, but because nothing is done to convert that into an actionable thing to do, the insight comes and then it goes, and then it's almost like a window opening and closing. It's a missed opportunity. So reflect on the session, but really look at it through the lens of what are you going to do differently, because that's where the rubber meets the road. You could listen to an amazing weight loss hypnosis session, but if you're not setting an intention to buy healthier food or to be more active, and you're going to do exactly what you're going to do anyway, just understand that habits are neural pathways, and the best way to interrupt a pattern, to break a neural pathway, is simply to do something different. So don't underestimate the impact of behavior in the impact of these hypnosis sessions. And then finally, and it goes on from this kind of reflection element, really plan how you'll integrate the hypnosis work or the insights that come from the hypnosis work into your daily life, or just certain decisions that you feel that you may need to make. It's all about action. And one of the key things, to give an example, having worked with a few hundred phobics, I know that the nail in the coffin of a phobia is to resourcefully do the very thing that you think you can't do. And once you do that, it shatters all of the belief systems about this idea that you are being controlled by the stimulus. Now, you've got to use your intuition and your own reflections to figure out what is the right thing to do for you. But what doesn't make sense is to have an amazing idea as to what you're going to do differently and then not actually do that thing. For regular listeners of the show, you'll notice that the final part normally is future pacing, to see a future version of you do the very thing that would represent success or a breakthrough. But that isn't something that is just a seed in a pot that you're never going to water. It's something that you can set the intention to block out time and do. If I'm working with someone with a fear of flying, I'll encourage them to book a ticket to fly to a nearby city so they've got the opportunity to put the hypnosis to work. You can listen to hypnosis all the time, but unless you actually set intentions and actions and schedule to actually do things differently, it's going to have limited value compared to those people that they realize the hypnosis is a vital ingredient, but not the full thing, and you'll be able to get so much more out of this session. The final thing I would say is to realize that recordings are never the same as the full one-to-one hypnosis experience. So if you are listening to the podcast and you feel it's beneficial but not fully beneficial, it is worth considering working with me directly. And there will be a link in the show notes of many of the episodes where you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. There's no obligation to work with me, but just know that this recordings are helpful. That's the reason that I do them, but it's not designed to do everything. You've got to play your part, and one-to-one therapy is always going to be more effective than a recording. Hope you found this useful, and if you do want to schedule a consultation call with me, again, the link to do that is probably going to be in the show notes here. So hope you enjoyed the show. Love to hear any feedback from you. Take care and enjoy the show.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.